Hello, hello. Welcome back to Journal Entries. This is so random, but I feel like my voice is getting raspier. I even got a new microphone because I felt like my old one. Well, first of all, I think it was going down the shitter or tubes or whatever they say. Because some of my episodes sounded like they were underwater and I needed a new one. But even still, I feel like I don't know. I listen back to some of these and they feel raspy. And often my therapist will ask me if I'm sick as I come in because I don't see many people in real life. I feel like I stay home a lot. But my therapist will say, "Oh no, are you sick again?" And I'm just like, "No, this is my voice now." Anyways, today we're not talking about sickness or raspy voices. We are actually diving into the number one reason I hear from working moms about why they don't invest in coaching support, or I feel like any support. What I hear is, I don't have time for one more thing on my plate. We think it'll be quicker to do it myself, so we don't accept any support. Or coaching related, we think I should be able to do this on my own and not spend more time on it with somebody else. Or maybe I'll put a pin in this for now and maybe do it later if it's still an issue, like if I can't do it on my own. I get it. I've said all of those things. I've thought all of those things between trying to crush it at work. And let's be honest, you are crushing it at work. Even if you don't like it, you are the person that you're showing up, you're doing the damn thing. And then you're also trying to be present for your kids, even though I know you're exhausted. And then somehow trying to maintain a home, and you are maintaining a home. Where is coaching supposed to fit in? Today, I'm going to be showing you why this thinking is actually keeping you stuck in the very time trap that you're trying to escape. First and foremost, I want you to know that you're not making this up. So, first, take a deep inhale, release it. You legitimately feel like you don't have a spare minute, even a spare second in your day. Just yesterday, I was talking to a client who described her typical day. And she said that she would wake up feeling already behind. She would work nonstop, then pick up her kid. She would make a quick dinner because there's no energy for anything else. And then she would crash on the couch. Is that similar to your day at all? Here's the wild thing though, the paradox, if you will. The very thing that you think you don't have time for is exactly what would create more time in your life. It's like saying, I don't have time to stop and put gas in my car while you're running on empty. Eventually, you're going to end up completely stalled on the side of the thruway. You say that you want more energy. You want a deeper connection with your partner and your kids. You want to feel more fulfilled at work. You want to have stronger boundaries. And you see that what you're doing isn't working. That gas tank is going down and down and down, but you're not doing anything about it. Eventually, you are going to stall. You are going to burn out. And then you will be forced to do something about it. I want to share something personal to further illustrate this. When I became a single mom, my network marketing business, which was Beachbody, was going down. 2020 was amazing for the at home fitness and nutrition industry. But once the world started to open up again after COVID, and there were more options for fitness and nutrition and even earning an income online, business went down for everybody within the network, within Beachbody. At that time, I also had full custody of my son, and my time felt like it was also decreasing, like it was going down just as fast as my income was. I was working nonstop to try and quote unquote save my business and team, and then working nonstop to try and avoid and then support, because I couldn't avoid, my son's meltdowns for every tiny little thing. It was exhausting. I remember I would wake up in the morning and do my journaling session, and I would start almost every entry saying, yesterday was hard, in caps lock. It felt like the worst possible time to invest both money and my precious time into coaching for myself. But I knew that something had to change because I was just going through the motions every day, feeling so incredibly drained. And so I signed up for a mindset coach for 6 months. And I was so scared that at first I said, can we just do a month by month basis? And she said, I don't usually offer that, but sure. And then after the first month, I was like, fine, let's do the full 6 months. Like that felt really good. I want more. So after working with my coach for the 6 months, it completely shifted how I experienced my time and lots of other things, but it allowed me to get creative, to rework my habits, to find my passion, to create something new. And what I loved the most was to rewire the way that my brain chooses thoughts. Ultimately, I saw my days completely different. I felt like I had more time each day. I didn't. I still had the same 24 hours. I still had the same year-and-a-half-year-old son. I still had the same responsibilities, but I felt like I owned my day and my future ultimately. But instead of just going through the motions, I stopped wasting the hours that I had on the patterns that weren't serving me. I went from feeling like my time and my routines and my schedule were controlling me to feeling like I had space during the day to make intentional choices that actually made me happy. I stopped wasting hours on those patterns that just didn't feel good, if I'm being honest, and mentally they weren't serving me. They were subconscious thoughts, and it felt so freeing. My client Kristi, who has now worked with me 3 separate times in a private capacity, is the perfect example of this transformation and ROI, return on investment, with time too. As the CFO of her company, she is so super busy. She works from 7 to 5 p.m., I believe, every day. She has her own tasks, she has employees needing her attention, and then random fires to put out all day, every day, it seems. She initially thought that she didn't have time for coaching with me because her evenings were so sacred to her. Like she would come home from work and just crash on the couch with her husband because she was so exhausted and that was her time for herself. Even though she did not like that evening for herself. She felt like she was just zoning out, not really connecting with her husband. She was grabbing fast food because cooking a healthy meal like she wanted to do felt impossible. Through our work together, she learned to create more peace during her workday. She learned to set boundaries that protected her energy and her priorities. And she started having difficult conversations instead of people pleasing and really understanding different types of relationships in her life. And the result is that she actually has more energy at the end of the day. She's still putting out those random fires. She's still getting to some of her to do list. But even with all of that, she is connecting more deeply with her husband. She's making healthier choices. And now we're preparing for what her life will look like as she transitions to being a working mom and eventually getting comfortable with taking time off of work for maternity leave. Kristi didn't get more time at her job or take time off. She just stopped wasting time on those patterns that were draining her. And now we're doing a deep dive into the subconscious fingerprint, as I've been calling it, which is how your subconscious sabotage patterns show up. By the way, if you're an overachiever, how uncomfortable does taking time away from work for something like maternity leave sound? Planning 3 months off, for example, or even like 2 weeks off. Even if you're not planning on having another child anytime soon, did you know that you could take time off of work? You're not, though, because of how your brain is wired based on that subconscious sabotage fingerprint, like not wanting to disappoint people, feeling the restless urge or need to constantly be doing something at work. There's so many reasons why, and that's some of the type of work we do together. Here's something else that I've noticed in my own life, and this is very recent. Sometimes When I feel so busy, like at max capacity, I used to feel too busy to stop working. I was like, but I have to do this. I have so many things on my to do list that I realized I'm actually just doing busy work, stuff that feels like I'm being productive, but it's not moving the needle forward at all. It's just something to cross off my to do list. So now, when I catch myself in first, I feel the trigger in my brain where I'm like, oh, this is taking longer than it should, or this is so boring, or I don't want to be doing this. And then I realize, oh, I feel like I should be doing this task. I literally stand up from my desk, I leave the room that I'm in, and I ask, what do I really want to be doing right now? If I could choose and do anything. And sometimes it's switching to a different task at work that feels lighter. Like if I was writing an email and it just feels like I'm getting nowhere, I'm talking in circles, then I might switch to recording a podcast episode or having a conversation with one of my clients. I'll check in on them or something. But then other times it's folding that pile of laundry that's been sitting on my living room floor for 3 days. And now it's a part of my son's monster truck obstacle course. Literally, that was the case last night, and I finally folded it this morning. No, I folded it last night, kept it in piles, and I put it away this morning. We work in little bits of time. But here's the crazy part. Even when I choose non-work activities during the workday, I feel more productive and more energized, and I come back to work with more creativity and efficiency. And then I step into mom mode later on, more patient and present. It's like a win 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 all the way around for everybody. Like I mentioned earlier, too, I know so many of you are thinking, but I've already tried so many things to fix this. Things that I've spent time on, time away from work and time away from my kids to do things like therapy or self care activities or exercise routines, even marriage counseling. One mom in my market research literally said that she was quote unquote throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. She's literally trying all of the things to see what can make her feel better as a mom and in her marriage and with that work life balance. Here's why those things don't create the change that you're looking for. They are band aids on symptoms, not solutions addressing the root cause, the actual issue. If the root cause is that you aren't speaking up for yourself at work, like maybe you want to request time off to your boss or tell your clients that you'll be off for a week. This is a theme right now. Like we're going off of work for whatever reason, this episode. But you're not doing it. You're not speaking up because you're scared to disappoint them and you're avoiding the work of finding replacement people to do some of your job, or you feel bad getting others to cover some of your work. That pattern that creates so much overwhelm for you and so much resistance isn't going to go away because you worked up the courage to actually go and get the massage. And it's not going to go away by exercising really hard every morning. It's not even going to go away with the therapy that you go to every now and then when things feel extra stressful. The surface level fixes might give you temporary relief, and it probably will for that hour that you're doing these things, but they don't help you identify the specific patterns. And by patterns, I mean, yes, the subconscious sabotage stuff that we've been talking about, but also the way that we think, that we've been thinking for our entire life, more or less. Or I just listened to a podcast episode, and I'm also going to record a podcast episode on it after I do some work on it and journal through it. It was all about our inner teen. So much work and focus right now is on the inner child, but how when you focus on your inner teen, there's so much that happens in your teen years. So much is developed in your brain simply through, when you're a teenager, that's when you learn a lot about relationships and sexual experiences and money and, oh my gosh, so many things that create beliefs and patterns in your brain that you aren't even aware of. And all of these things keep you stuck in overwhelm and time scarcity. This is exactly why I'm so passionate about my private coaching. I actually recently asked my clients inside my small group coaching, the Peace and Confidence Collective, what title they would give me because I used to call myself a journal coach or journal expert, and I don't think that does my work justice. And I've been playing around with self trust coach, but I'm not sure that people really grasp that immediately after hearing it. And one of the members inside the collective said, a clarity coach. She said, you use strategic journaling prompts to help me see what I can't see on my own. The prompts cut through the surface level thinking and the mental blocks that I'm having. I A, love it, and B, agree with her. I'm able to see and hear what you are not because of my expertise and because you are too close to them. Sometimes you need someone with a truly objective view of your life and of your problems and of your desires to help you work through all of that and to get what you want and to feel how you want to feel. When it's just you and me, I'm 100% focused on your specific patterns, your specific triggers, and your unique path forward, not splitting my time and attention between 5 or 10 different women with 5 or 10 different situations. We get straight to the root of what's keeping you stuck, which means transformation happens faster and lasts longer. I've had clients say that after one private call with me, they feel like their overwhelm went from a 10 to a 1. I've also had clients who started off in a group setting and then they upgraded, if you will, to a private session. And they've said, wow, this private session made it seem like the group experience was kind of like we were dating and talking, but private coaching is like we went there. We are in a full blown relationship. Like, you know me now. And it feels good to finally be seen and understood and feel like I have a path forward. I could talk on this forever, but if you are ready to break out of this time trap, to actually have the energy to be present with your kids and excel in your career without feeling constantly depleted, I invite you to reach out to me about one on one coaching. My private coaching clients get 1 hour a week with me 3 times a month. So 3 hours a week for private calls, plus daily messenger support whenever you need that on the spot coaching when something triggers you and something comes up for you. Think about it this way. You are not adding one more thing to your plate. You are investing 1 hour a week, really 3 hours a month, to transform how you experience all the other hours. Your kids and partner will benefit because you'll be showing up as the calm, patient, actually present version of yourself. Your work will benefit because you'll be making decisions from clarity, not overwhelm, and not second guessing yourself. And most importantly, you will benefit because you will finally feel like you're living your life, not just surviving it or on autopilot. So if any of this feels like it might be a good fit for you, click the link in the show notes to fill out a no strings attached quick application. I will email you within 48 hours with pricing options and nitty gritty details. I'm a person who loves to see, like, but tell me what it really is. What else do I get access to? All of that stuff. And then I'll also answer any of your questions. There are different amounts of spots that I have open at any given time. Like right now, I have 2 spots open. So if you are interested, make sure that you fill that out. We could also set up a quick 15-minute call to see if this would be a good fit for you if you prefer that option. Either way, fill out that link to the application in the show notes so that I can see your interest and reach out to you. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Journal Entries. If this resonated with you, please share it with another working mom who might need to hear it and has been venting to you about wanting to feel less overwhelmed, but she's not making time for it. Remember, you don't need more time. You need to stop wasting the time that you have on the patterns that aren't serving you. Catch the Journal with Me episode on Thursday. Otherwise, I will see you next week.